Okay, so here we're going to talk about great ways to save, and we're talking from the perspective of a student coming into college. And so I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys a little bit more about dual enrollment. It sounds like we may have two students already on the call who are taking advantage of this way to save, which is really, really smart. So dual enrollment basically means that a student can be enrolled both at a community college and at a four-year institution. And the advantage to that and the reason why a student might want to do that is because tuition is typically a lot less expensive at a community college than it would be at a four-year university. And typically a student can take the majority of their first 2 years of credits at the community college at the lower rate. So that is a really, really smart way to save on tuition and still get the credits you're going to need to go towards your degree. You do have to be smart about which classes you take. So it's very important that you're meeting with an advisor and planning out what you're going to study and how you're going to take those classes and where they're going to transfer to. But it's a really great way to save money. All right, so we're going to go next into textbooks. And I know that was one of my favorite ways to save money while I was a college student, because I would normally see the high number of how much textbooks was going to cost me per term. And for those of you who might not know, it can be in the hundreds of dollars for just textbooks alone for each term. And so I would see the high number, and that's what my budget would include. But then I would try to save as much as possible, because I knew that money I saved there, I could put towards savings or actually other things that I might want. So that needs versus wants. I need my textbooks, but if I save money on that need, I might be able to use some of that money on my wants. So there's a lot of great ways to save on that, and it could be by purchasing used books, by renting books, by reselling your books, by borrowing books, or just by shopping around. So one of the things is you could buy directly from the university bookstore, or you can buy from another online vendor, or even just a physical bookstore. And it's really good to shop around to see who offers you the best deal. It's as simple as that. Some colleges do have a student book exchange program where students can actually sell and buy books with each other. And that tends to be more affordable for the student. And also the ability to sell your books to other students can bring some of that money back into your own pocket. So keep an eye out for those types of programs. And then last on this list is leisure and entertainment. And I included both there together because the amount of money people can spend on leisure and entertainment can vary wildly. It could be something as low as $5 to $10 a week to hundreds of dollars a week, depending on the lifestyle and type of leisure and entertainment that the person is into. That is something to definitely keep an eye on and really think proactively on. How do you want to spend your free time, and how much is that going to cost you? And is that something you can afford and build into your budget, or is that something that's going to break the bank?
There are a lot of college kids that are rowing in the same boat as you. As far as textbooks go, I mean, reach out to your social networks, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Anybody have a book for this class? If they don't want to sell it for cheap for the cost of them to go buy a pizza, you might offer to rent it from them for super cheap for the term. Same thing with leisure and entertainment. A lot of your friends that you're going to meet, not only a great way to meet friends, but they're all pretty much, like I said, rowing in the same boat with you financially. There's a lot of free stuff that you guys can go do, and it doesn't cost you a dime. Pool your money together with friends. You know, if everybody's wanting to get pizza, get 4 or 5 of your friends together and get a pizza. And then that way you're only spending $5 as opposed to $25 on a pizza for dinner one night. So really, reach out to your community of friends and find out what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how, if you guys can pool your resources together, you have a really great time.
I know a big one was having movie nights together in college rather than going out to the movies and each paying up to $10 per person. We'd just rent a movie for like $3 and just watch it together in someone's dorm or in some hallway. Yeah, it was always a good way to save money on a Friday night. All right, so another really great way to save is, and this was one that caught me off guard when I started college because I had never really tracked how much I was spending on food because I was living at home with my parents and they took care of that. But in college, I really had to pay more attention. And as a college student, if you're living on campus, you most likely have a dining plan. But even then, you have options. So most colleges offer different levels of meal plans. And so they could go from a pretty low, sort of inexpensive tier to a much more expensive tier. So keep in mind, how much do you actually need to spend on food, and how much are you actually buying? It's really good to test that out your first term, and just choose a food plan and see, oh no, I'm gonna need something higher by the end of the term, otherwise I'm gonna run out. Or I'm not spending nearly as much as I thought I was going to. And so maybe asking to reduce that plan to something lower. Keeping that in mind, when I was a college student, I had a meal plan and I had a place to go get food, but yet I was finding myself going out to other places and getting food. And that was not necessary for me to do, but I was just following my friends and going out to eat in other places. And that can really add up. I did the math, and I don't remember if it was $70 a month extra that I was spending just for going out to eat when I didn't really have to. So that was $70 I was spending extra that I could have saved just if I had kept to my meal plan. So that's something to keep in mind, how you're spending on your food habits, and whether or not you need to increase that or reduce that. The other one is housing. And right here, I only show a graphic for one of the residence halls at Oregon State University. And this is actually from a year ago, so these rates might be a little outdated now. But here you can see a couple different options of the types of rooms that students can live in. And you'll see that the most affordable room is a triple, but that also implies that a student would be sharing the room with 2 other people. And so there you see what the total cost would be per year, and then also what it would be per term. And then you see all the way down to a large single room, which is nearly double of what it would be to be in a triple. And so you want to keep in mind what you can afford with your budget, and whether or not you need to rethink your housing situation. And something that's not on here, but is definitely really important to consider, is whether you would even be living on campus or off campus. There's a lot of options for off campus, whether it be living in an apartment or shared duplex, or even in Greek life, fraternities or sororities. Those are all options that can save you money. They tend to be less expensive than living on campus, but they also, living on campus also has its perks. And I just want to tap on Jeff. Jeff, are you still on the call?
I am, yeah.
So Jeff is my boss actually from Oregon State University. He, as a student, had lived on campus and also lived off campus in Greek life. So Jeff, can you share with folks what difference that makes in the student's finances?
Yeah, it can vary from fraternity to fraternity. There's also some campuses have co-ops, but for us, the fraternity was quite a bit cheaper because we had we had a smaller house. But we also had an in-house cook, so meals were provided. So I think, I don't want to date myself, but it was like $200 less per month to live in the fraternity than to live on campus with a meal plan.